Welcome. We are here today to remember Michael Breen and celebrate his life. Doing this by Zoom is odd and sadly a sign of the times, but it allows family and friends to connect in a way that would not be possible otherwise. I'm listed on the program as Jim Patrick. That's what Michael called me. Some of you have never met Michael, and most of you who have not had a chance to see or talk to him for many years. Here are some photographs of Michael through his life. Michael lived several spiritual paths, many at the same time. He was born into Catholicism with Irish and native blood, and later in life pursued Eastern teachings. While these paths may differ from each other, each of them at their core believe in love and kindness for all. As our own beliefs may be different from Michael's, one can yet not deny the most powerful love that is always present in us when we open our hearts to each other and to the universe. We cannot deny, if we truly listen, that place inside and out that allows us to feel one with creation and feel its protection. It is to that sacred place I would speak. With Michael's death, we are once again faced with our own mortality of the body. The wondering, hope, and faith of life continued. Khalil Gibran said, "You would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl, whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day, cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one." Krishna said, "The spirit is neither born nor does it die at any time. It does not come into being or cease to exist. It is unborn, eternal, permanent, and primeval. The spirit is not destroyed when the body is destroyed." We speak for Michael. We speak for those who have gone before us and for those with us now. We speak for our grief that it may be felt, shared, and lived with. For it is in that grief we know love. And so we do so here. I offer the following in Michael's name and in ours. Grant, O Great Spirit, Goddess, God, Holy Ones, thy protection to Michael and to us all. And in protection, strength, and in strength, understanding, and in understanding, knowledge, and in knowledge, the knowledge of justice, and in the knowledge of justice, the love of it, and in that love, the love of all existences, and in the love of all existences, the love of the Great Spirit, Goddess, God, Holy Ones, the earth our mother, and all goodness.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to read a Native American poem entitled, "Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep." Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow, and I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sun on ripened grain, and I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die. A time to plant, a time to reap. A time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to stop, a time of love, a time of hate, a time of peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. And a time to every purpose under heaven. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
Gotcha. Okay. Rebecca, when you're ready.
Remember Me by Margaret Mead. To the living, I am gone. To the sorrowful, I will never return. To the angry, I was cheated. But to the happy, I am at peace. And to the faithful, I have never left. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon a shore, gazing at a beautiful sea, remember me. As you look in awe at a mighty forest in its grand majesty, remember me. As you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts, your memories of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never be gone.
Michael is the third of 7 children, born in North Dakota, and grew up in Pittsburgh. He was an active child, and as my next brother, we spent a great deal of time playing in the woods behind our house. Nature was a salvation for us. Michael was always willing to jump into an adventure. When the bulldozer came to tear down our perfectly good woods and put in a boring park, Michael helped me monkey wrench the machine. While it only delayed the inevitable, it gave us both a moment of satisfaction. Michael and I attended the YMCA in Pittsburgh. He was a natural gymnast and could do things on the trampoline and diving board I could only dream about. We went scuba diving together and ran the rapids in the mountains, enjoying time in nature with just the right amount of danger. Years later, we worked at a camp in the mountains of Southwest Pennsylvania. He worked with the horses, helping care for them and taking the campers on rides. Michael's early interest in Eastern philosophy led him to the Ojai area, where he studied theosophy, a blend of East and West. One of the main tenets of theosophy is to nurture being in harmony and compassion with self, others, and nature. He ran a juice business and played his flute in his hippie clothes as he walked the streets of Ojai. To this day, Theosophy has a camp on Orcas Island. When I visited Orcas, I remember seeing the sign. It wasn't until we moved here that I learned from Michael he had been at that camp. I told him I could see Orcas from our house. Later, for the better and the worst, Michael became involved in a group called Siddha Yoga. He had our best interests in mind when he brought as many of the family as he could to the ashram in upstate New York. He succeeded. Our father, mother, stepmother, myself, my wife, my brother, sister, and stepsister went all in. Michael spent a great deal of time traveling with this group and in India. It was during these times that he learned plumbing and HVAC. In 1982, I went to India. Michael was there and took me under his wing. He arranged for me to share a room with him and helped me buy some clothes. It was so hot that the lightest Western clothes was like wearing a winter jacket in August. Michael knew where to take me and what I should get. I really appreciated him looking after me. Later, Michael lost his way. It took me a time to find him, and when I did, he was still lost. Michael's had significant challenges for many years. Yet, as I think about him, I can say that the gentleness and kindness that he had in his early life survived, even as his delusions and substance abuse overtook him. It was just more difficult to see. Michael returned to Ojai. He did odd jobs and was looked after by an older couple, where he worked taking care of their horses and mules. He really didn't like the mules. Yet in the midst of all this, there were moments of love and connection that he had with myself and others in the area. The few people that he interacted with and allowed me to know told me what a sweet person he was. Despite his problems, their caring for him was truly heartfelt. When I visited Michael, we spent time walking in the woods on his favorite trail, as well as at the ocean. He again looked after me by pointing out the poison ivy I had missed. It was clear that nature was still very important to him. I believe he did so well, relatively speaking, for so long because he was in a small town with many miles of woods and mountains. Michael was frugal. One time I offered to buy him a new backpack as the one he had long ago reached its time. He declined. Later, when I looked at it more closely, I realized it was the very same backpack I had once owned and had mailed to him years ago. At the same time, he was very generous with whatever he had. Michael gave me a pair of brand new sweatpants, despite having so little. When Michael became gravely ill, it was only then he could accept medical care. The end of his life was in comfort. He did, however, try to leave once by calling 911. Well, that created an uproar, and yet I could understand his thinking. If an ambulance got him to the hospital, why couldn't it take him somewhere else at his choosing? At the end, he was not alone. Family were able to talk to him. He had a warm bed and all the blueberry yogurt he could eat. The staff in the hospitals and nursing center told me how much they liked him. While I cannot lay him to rest in the mountains above Ojai, he will be placed in the Salish Sea, where I will be able to watch over him from our front window. I think he would like that.
Okay, this one's for Gabby. Ooh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you dare to, oh why can't I? Well, I see trees of green and red roses too. I'll watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the brightness of day. I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like a lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dare to, why, oh why can't I? Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Now is the time for us to share our memories of Michael. It helps the person who shares and helps us who listen. It also allows us to know Michael in ways we might not have otherwise. Perhaps it will also help Michael in ways we don't understand. I'll begin by sharing something Janice told me at the end. Michael worked for Janice and Dennis many years at the horse corral and at their home. Janice said, "Michael holds this very special place in my heart. He has his drawbacks, but he is a good man with no malice in him. From him, over the years, I learned patience. We can't change what is, but we can find the treasures that are hidden there. Through my husband's illness and after his passing, I knew that God had left Michael with me to help me through the difficult times. For all of this, I'm eternally grateful. Thank you, Michael, for being here and being who you are. Love, Janice." I shared this with the family, and one person said that is how he will remember Michael. When I told Janice this, she said, "Thank you for sharing with him. Michael spoke often of his missions. Although they were only imaginary, his last one, helping me, was real and successful. Michael held you, his family, in high regard. He was very proud of all of you and would mention that often." At this time, I invite you to share any story of Michael that you have. Please send a chat message. I'll announce your name so you know you are next. Please unmute your mic and share. When you're done, please turn your mic off. Rebecca?
Yeah, so I was very young when Michael and I no longer lived together, so I don't have a lot of memories of when we were younger, but I certainly remember him when I would visit the ashram and when he would occasionally visit in New Jersey. I remember a particular time where he took me on a motorcycle ride through the mountains on his BMW bike, and I swore that I would never get on a motorcycle again. I did once since, but yeah, he was playful. He liked to incite a little fun and I don't want to say crazy, but I mean, he just really liked to play and kind of push the needles and kind of get people going. You know, very sweet and loving. You know, unfortunately, due to his mental illness, it was very difficult to be connected with him on a regular basis. However, felt always connected in spirit and in heart, and always will be.
Mary Jo?
Hi, I've been thinking about contributing to this, and I told Jim I didn't think I could. But Michael was very close to me. He was just a year younger than I was, and what I remember most about him is that while the boys, Jim and two youngest brothers, would go to the woods to play, Michael would come back and play with me because he was gentle and he didn't have to, go to fort and, climb trees and things like that. So he was my favorite. And I remember Halloween and trading candy bars. And as Rebecca said, he always had a trick. He would give you two of a lesser bar for one of your pure chocolate or whatever. And then we played Monopoly, and I insisted on being the banker, and he was fine with anything. And I don't know who won. I don't think ultimately anybody cared, but the banker in me, I went on to be an accountant. The banker in me did not like the fact that he would take a deed and hide it in the sleeve of his shirt so that we couldn't tell what he owned. What you pay is it's a lot of times based on the rent, is based on the property and the size of it, and you paid for it. And with Michael there, it was like a town with the main seat of the city missing, because he had all the information to get you to go, I guess. When he was moving west, and kind of most of the brothers and sisters did after they graduated, I was in Pittsburgh, and he stayed with me a couple of weeks, and asked me to cut his hair. Should have started a new business in cutting afros, because I cut his curly hair into an afro. I think I cut Jim's at one point too. And I was in Chicago with my first husband, and he found us and asked me if I would cut his hair. So right in the kitchen, they were Italian. They didn't like hair in the kitchen, but it was kind of utilitarian in a way of living. So, and in recent years, we've been part of a family conglomerate to help take care of him if he needed clothing or shoes or whatever. Jim would take care of it, or if he couldn't do it, tell one of us, and somebody would get it and mail it to him. I'd say we, except that Bill, my husband, actually did most of it. And I started measuring, I started getting food for him. He wasn't eating, he wasn't comfortable anymore in a soup kitchen. So we tried to find something. I went to Aldi's and got one of everything so that he could try it and let me know what he wanted to eat, because we just assumed he didn't have what he liked, which is why he wasn't eating. I'm sure now that he's paranoid and part of mental illness and to do with that. But anyway, once a month or 3 weeks or whatever was as a need to happen, Bill went on Amazon, and we started with tuna, and then that was a big hit. And then Bill found some salmon, which was just a bit more, just a little bit more expensive. So that certainly was worth trying. After that, he said, I want salmon, and only salmon. And he got that for several years. Up into the fact where the post office, which Bill tracked, the post office didn't, said he hadn't picked up the delivery there. He would go to general delivery when Bill pulled Jim, and Jim tracked down Mike and said that his food was in. And he would go to the Ohio post office and get it. And then he hadn't picked it up. It was a month later, and then we were into the second month, and found out that things had spiraled out of control rather badly. I've been crying ever since. Thank you.
Jeff? Jeff?
I don't think he's unmuted his microphone.
Well, while he's getting that together, is there anyone else who would like to share in the meantime? Karen?
Yes, thank you. I don't know everyone on this call, but so sort of to contextualize, I guess, I am a Sorensen, part of the Sorensen family, and our family has very deep connections with the Breen family back to the mid 1950s in Pittsburgh. And Rebecca was my best friend growing up, and Lindy, who was Jean to me as a child, is who I have always thought of as my godmother, although that wasn't an official relationship, but she was a very important person to me in terms of not just my day-to-day life and the mom of my best friend, but in my own spiritual development. So mainly I know Michael, and I'm a year older than Rebecca. So like Rebecca, I didn't see him much from when I was very young until when I was an adult, but he is part of our family by virtue of being part of his family, and the connection is very real. So the memories that I have to share from him are sort of bookended, from young childhood on one end and adulthood on the other. And the young childhood one is from when, before my family left Pittsburgh. So that must have been 1967 or earlier. And Michael was babysitting us. Is that possible? I'm not really sure, but I have a memory of him being around and sort of nominally in charge, and sort of taking his babysitting duties as an opportunity to play monster and and chase and frighten the younger children with a lot of hilarity, and listening to Rebecca talk about his playfulness, that kind of really resonated with me in terms of that memory, because he was being super playful, kind of mischievous, very funny, a little bit scary, but but he wasn't trying to be scary. And he was kind of making sure that everybody was having a good time while he was in charge. Then I really didn't see Michael for a lot of my childhood or adolescence. But when I was a young adult, I reconnected with him in Maryland, where his mom and brothers and my parents and family were. And I was in graduate school in religion at the time. And my graduate study was very Western religion focused. And I just had some of the most amazing conversations I've ever had with anyone about spiritual matters with Michael during that time. And his sort of complete permeation, the permeation of an Eastern perspective and mindset and philosophy into his whole being was very fascinating to me. And we had a lot of really great conversations, and that opened my way of thinking about religion and spirituality. So that's and that's kind of a piece with my relationship with his mom too. So that's something I will always carry with me from Michael.
Jeff, I got a message that you were going to try to use your phone.
You have to unmute.
Yes, he does.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
We hear you. Great. Go ahead.
Oh, cancel. Video was stopped. I can't see me. Can you see me?
No, but we hear you well. Your video is not on.
Oh, I'm on safe driving mode.
There you are.
Can you see me now?
Yes, we see you and hear you.
Okay,
All yours.
all right. Sorry for the confusion. But what I was saying when I was moving my lips before is Michael was a couple years older than me, but he did do stuff like take me to the YMCA and take me motorcycle riding and let me do his paper route when they were going away, and taught me how to ride a bike by pushing me down the backyard without telling me how the brakes worked. So I had to use the hedges to stop. But I remember that all fondly, and we played baseball together. One time I was the catcher, Michael was batting, and my dad was the umpire behind home plate. So that was pretty neat. Laura and Karen are here with me. Laura and Nancy, I'm sorry. And Laura told me a story how Laura and I were going to kindergarten because we grew up with each other across the street. And maybe we decided, we were saying we didn't want to go, and Michael convinced us that we didn't have to go. So we cut kindergarten.
Yeah, Beth might have been with us too.
Oh yeah, Elizabeth might have been with us too. And he just told us what we wanted to hear. So we did share some school. He was in high school with me a couple, maybe just 1 or 2 years. And when he left for Ojai, he left me his motorcycle to sell for him, and didn't mind that I drove it around for 6 months. But I did see him at ashram a couple times. late 80s. And Elizabeth was there too, our stepsister. So that was fun going up there and meeting the guru. And I didn't really know much about everything, but you know, after he went out west, I didn't really see him very much, but I think I have enough vivid memories of growing up to last me for the rest of my life. So thank you all thank you, Jim, for putting this on, and thank you.
Uncle Wayne.
You should be able to talk now.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, this is your Uncle Wayne. What I remember about Jeff was a goofy little kid. Or Mike, I mean, he was a goofy little kid, cute little bugger. And when you used to come to the farm, of course, you know, all you kids had a good time there. It was a lot of fun. And the last time I seen him, he was hitchhiking and he stopped in Granite. Now, this was, we think, probably early 70s.
1973.
73, probably. Anyway, this is a little bit before the long hair, and he come in, he stopped at school, and he's got this hair. This is before Mary Jo cut it, obviously. and he was a hero, I mean, for the, you know, for the kids and everything. And he stayed with us about a day or so, and it was fun. And then he just said, "Well, time for me to go out," and he got out on the road and went again. So that's my last memory. And it was a pretty good one because we had a really good visit for a while. Nice to see everybody.
I can't find the.
Oh.
Where am I? I can't find the. Oh.
I know our brother John was not able to join, but I know he was very close to Michael. And John spent time with Michael in the ashram, and John learned his plumbing trade through Michael as well. And Michael was very close to John and vice versa. So while John's not with us here directly, he did text me, and he and I will catch up, and he'll see this, the recording that I'm making for him and for everyone else. So if there's no one else, then we'll move along. Okay. Nature was very important to Michael. In most places he lived, there were more trees than people, more mountains than buildings, and more water than roads. Whether it was the woods behind our house in Pittsburgh, the mountains in Southwest Pennsylvania, India, the Catskills, or in Ojai, Michael was always hiking and camping. He often talked about the deer and the birds coming to visit him when he woke in the mornings at one of his campsites near Ojai. When Michael was in the hospital, he told me about a channel he found on the TV that had pictures of nature and nice Windham Hill type music. He said it was beautiful. I learned later that a hospital employee had taken videos of the surrounding region and added a soundtrack. Here are some photos of Michael's area with some Windham Hill music.
Never been a sinner, I never sinned. I got a friend in Jesus. So you know that when I die, it's gonna set me up, the spirit in the sky. Whoa, set me up, the spirit in the sky. That's where I'm gonna go when I die. When I die and they lay me to rest, I'm gonna go to the place that's the best. Go to the place that's the best.
Michael, thanks everyone for coming. Michael was very fond of blueberry yogurt, and if you're so inclined, it's time to have some. Open mics for all. Please be aware that only one person at a time can be heard. Eating yogurt. We'll stay open for as long as people are here. Thank you, everyone, and your sharing. Uncle Wayne. One of the doctors had told me that whenever she went to visit Michael, she always brought along a container of blueberry yogurt for him because they were literally eating him out of house and home. Well, all the yogurt, every place he went. And he didn't want any other kind. He was very particular about his taste, and they gave him as much blueberry yogurt as he could manage.
I have a story, but I honestly don't know which one of you boys it was, but we were up in the hayloft on the farm. And we were climbing up the wall ladder, using a rope to jump off a platform. Like why, I don't know. But at some point I got hit in the eye with the rope. And it could have been Michael, it could have been you, Jim Pat, it could have been Jeff. I have no idea. But anyway, one of you said, because I was crying, of course, how many fingers am I holding up? And I said, 5. Nope, 4. One's a thumb. That's a very vivid memory.
I just muted. Can you hear us, Jim? Oh, there we go. So, this is Chuck Breen. I'm actually with my brothers and sisters here in Park Rapids. So Pat and Mike and Katie in case you're all here.
Julie's on her way right now. She's in the car that you can see. Vicky's also.
I think that was Uncle Dick with Chuck, but I think they just disconnected. So it's good to hear from you, Uncle Dick.
Okay, it's Mary Jo, can I talk?
Oh, of course, anybody can just talk whenever they want. Go for it.
Well, we had all the usual clicking around on the toolbar. So it was funny when we heard about the blueberry yogurt, because I eat blueberry yogurt with my oatmeal, blah, 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 this whole pile of things every morning and have been for years. So Bill said, well, I guess I should get blueberry yogurt. And I said, well, you can, but I do have a 3-pound bag of blueberries in the freezer and my big jar of yogurt. So just to make sure we didn't run out and we're ready, he stopped and got a couple damn yogurts. So when we started, I was trying to get the top off. I said, I'll get the yogurt. Bill ran to get it. And he said, oh, mine must be mixed from the bottom because this was white. And then mine was blueberry. It was blueberry. So it turns out I didn't want him not to get credit with the spirits, you know, for not going with the flow. So I've been feeding him for my blueberry yogurt because I think he put vanilla and he didn't realize. But so he gets credit for the blueberries too. Thank you. Yes, and you did an excellent job.
Yeah,
Jim.
Yeah, this was really beautiful, Jim. Thank you.
Can you hear me at all? This is Chuck.
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. So I was babbling before thinking that everybody could hear, but basically I think I couldn't run my phone. My family knows this, but this is Chuck Breen. I'm in Park Rapids, actually. This is the week when our family all gets together for the last 45 some years, if you remember. Uncle Don and Casey, and Julie is on her way. You could see her; she was in the car, and Vicky's also listening from Pierre. And so our stories mostly come from Grandma Agnes, kind of keeping us up to date back in the day, and with her trips and others. When the boys came by many years ago, and you guys were on our slides, so that was the one thing that we always remember, those pictures. But then being filled in on things, and but the one thing that kind of struck us was, as we were listening to the stories about Mike, you know, his kindness and his love of life and love of the earth. And, you know, I think we all kind of share that, and especially the kindness. I think that's got to be a trait that kind of comes down from Grandma Agnes and Grandpa Jim. And just also wanted a big shout out to Uncle Dick and to Uncle Bob. To be able to see them is such a joy, and really pulls us together as a family. We've still always kind of felt connected in these ways. And so just a lot of love from all of us coming to you. And thank you so much, Jim, for putting this together. Just very well done. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. It's good to hear you.
Well, Jim, I was eating blueberries. I was very close to blueberry yogurt.
That's good.
Jim, just thanks again for everything, and really great to see everyone. Sometime I'll have to do this when it's not this type of occasion. And celebrating life is a wonderful occasion, but great to see everyone. We're going to close out right now. Want to say goodbye, Ben? Sweet. Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see you both.
Yeah. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Jim, for allowing us to be part of this with you and making it possible by Zoom.
You're very welcome, Vicki. I'm glad we could see you. And as Becky said, it's sad under these circumstances, but I'm glad we have this technology to be able to share and connect.
Yep.
So I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
Jeff, is that a grandchild of yours there?
I don't believe so. Not that we're aware of.
Oh. Everybody take care. God love you.
Thank you, Vicki. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bless you. Okay, Mary Jo and Bill, thanks for coming. We're it. So
Pleasure, Jim. Thanks. I know this had to be really, it was beautiful, but it had to be really tough for you.
it's been a long, I was going to say 6 months. It's been a long, many, many years, but this last 6 months, of course, 7 months now, has been difficult for us all. But I'm glad you folks were able, both of you were able to attend. And Bill, everything you've done for Michael, Mary Jo, everything you've done for Michael, we've all been trying to do our part in what we can, and have him accept whatever he could accept.
Yeah, well.
Now it's in somebody else's hands.
And let me tell you, when I saw this, we were all visitors in time and place, just passing through. Purposes to observe, learn, grow, love, and then we returned home. That was just what I'm looking for. One word touch.
The first reading here. Let's get at my grave.
Stand my grave. Oh yeah, I'm not there. I do not sleep. I'm 1,000 winds of flow in the time and the sun, snow, etc. And I just, started crying right away. And I am not there. He did not die. And I believe that. I've been, since he was in hospice, I started praying and just telling him every day, I love you, Michael, I love you, Michael. Because I know he would hear me, and when I found out he wasn't there, well, Of course. That's, you know, he would just, he would go on. Well, and I hope he's giving them a hard time up there in the spirit world. I hope, did you hear me?
Pardon
I said, I hope he's giving them a hard time.
Ah, I heard
Their
you.
spirit world.
I heard you. Thank you. My hearing aids are on order to get a new pair. So.
Well, thank you again to both of you. I'm sure that if you didn't participate directly, Kalisha, I'm sure that you were without Jim a lot over the last month putting this together. And I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure you have a soggy shoulder too a lot too.
Oh, yeah.
I know this had to be really, really tough. If I got choked up and never knew Michael directly, I can't imagine what it would be like for a brother, you know.
I was going to say I have a friend who's I've known from selling real estate and remain good friends, and she's a photographer. It's always was her passion, and you know, in retirement, she's given it full gun, and I'm going to, whether our copy works or if the cloud or your copy works at this, I'm going to send it to her because she will. It doesn't matter if she knew Michael or not, you know, personally. She will absolutely love it. So all the photography was gorgeous, and the sentiments, of course. And she's lost a few, you know, lost her parents in the last couple of years. So.
I hope it helps. As you know, I recorded the entire service, and I'll put that up so people can download the whole thing. But the videos of Michael and then the videos of nature will be also posted as separate videos, which will make them easier to view or to share if somebody would like to do that. So I'll be sending emails out about that shortly.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Wait for that. I'll send it to you. Or send it to link.
Okay. Well, we'll let you take a breath and a sigh, and what we think about Michael the remainder of the day, for sure. And actually, I'll be thinking of you, because my brother's one of the closest people to my heart my entire life, and losing him is just unimaginable. So I empathize. I fortunately have not had to face that pain yet. So again, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Mary Jo. Good to see you. Love you both.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Okay, you too.
We're retired every day Saturday, so you know. Okay.
Thanks, Felicia.
Okay. See you. And Rebecca's right. We ought to do this occasionally just to catch up.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully we won't have another reason in the near future. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. Let's save that for another day.
Well, unless it comes up. I'm plotting my path to Jeff's, who's going to Pittsburgh